Okay, motel many years ago used to have um, storytelling festivals in the state parks. And they were wonderful. And we'd hire somebody to come in, a known storyteller. And I actually did the initial contacting this storyteller and worked out all the details with him and everything. And he wanted his sister to do all the airplane fares and things like that. And he came in at 2 o'clock. And we thought, well, we need to do something with him until we take him out to Quiver River to the state park. And I didn't hire, but I asked this very dear friend, storyteller, very gentle elderly lady, to go and pick him up at the airport and take him out to lunch or something to eat before he went. There was lunch involved somewhere. And she met him. He looked at her and she explained that she was going to take him to see the arch and this way and take him out to lunch, get something to eat and all of this. And he said to her, "Are you going to pay me $2,000 an hour for that?" And she didn't know what to say. And he went and got his bags, plopped them down, and told her to watch his bags while he went and rented a car. He came back, took up his bags, went out to the rental car, and left her standing there. So we didn't know where he was. We didn't know how to get a hold of him. And he finally did end up at the state park. And I have to say, he was very, very good, but he worried us tremendously. We didn't know where he was and what we were going to do. So things like that happen. One of my favorite storytellers was Jackie Torrance. I thought she was just wonderful, and I wanted her for one of these weekends. Now, we would go out to the state parks and we would get their cabins ready for the state park to open in the spring. So we were like late fall. And we slept on beds, kind of. You took a sleeping bag. Oh, there's one other thing. There was electricity, there was hot and cold running water, but there was no heat. So you took a sleeping bag, or I would take an electric blanket. This was roughing it. And Jackie Torrance was a really national storyteller, and she was so good. And she really couldn't do that. So we were going to put her up at a hotel. But she also wanted to go shopping. She wanted the hotel to be near a shopping mall. And the one she wanted to go to was Frontenac Plaza. Now, Frontenac Plaza is a very high scale mall. You've got Saks Fifth Avenue at one end, and you've got Neiman Marcus at the other end. Now, for you men who don't know about Neiman Marcus, it's a very high end clothing store out of Texas. And they put out a Christmas catalog each year, and it has a centerfold. I know you what a, I know you know what a centerfold is, but their centerfold would be the most expensive Christmas gift in the world. So she wanted to go shopping there. So we put her up at a hotel right across the street. Now, Jackie, when she told a story, she might come out and in an electric wheelchair type of thing. And that's how she got around. But she was going to go shopping, and that's what she wanted to do. John and I were to pick her up at Frontenac Plaza and take her out to Quiver River State Park, which we were going to put her in a hotel up there also. So the agreement was that she would be shopping and she would meet us at the south end of the shopping mall. at Neiman Marcus at their side door. There wouldn't be much traffic. We could pick her up very easy and she could see us. So I had worked that day, went home, changed into clothes to go out at a camp. Uh, Jeans, had a sweatshirt on, and tennis shoes. In those days, it really wasn't the style to wear jeans, tennis shoes, and a sweatshirt. Certainly not to Neiman Marcus. But that's what I had on. We drove, parked the car. You could see the car from the door. We could see the door. And she was not there. And I'm thinking, we're going to be late. We're going to be late. So I said, John, I'll go in and look for her. So I got out and went in that side door. And when I went in to Neiman Marcus, I went into the jewelry department. You don't wear jeans, sweatshirt, and tennis shoes to a jewelry store. So I looked around, I didn't see her. And I noticed over to my left, there was a gentleman who kept looking at me. I decided he was security. Gonna be late. We're gonna be late, I'm sure, for a very important date. You never want to be late for something like this, and especially with Jackie Torrance. She was my favorite. She was the first job I really had with storytelling, and that was to take her around to every elementary school in Kirkwood, Missouri. I got to listen to her all day long. It was wonderful. To me, she was a goddess. And I couldn't see her. I didn't see her anywhere. I looked down the mall. There was no little electric chair. I guess you shouldn't call it that. Scooter type of thing. And I didn't see anyone or anything. I stood there for a while and I started getting nervous about the man to my left who kept watching me. So I went out the mall a little bit and then I came back in and I went back out to the car to tell John, I hadn't found her. I'm going to go really look for her. And I said, we're going to be late. I know we're going to be late. And he would say, well, we'll see. So I went back in to the jewelry department. Now there were two security guards. I'm sure both of them were security. So I went down the mall, and down the mall were all of these exclusive stores. You know, a baby store to buy all those wonderful little things they would never wear. Couldn't possibly, because you couldn't clean them afterwards. Or there was a, a fountain pen store. You paid $300 for a fountain pen and then didn't use it because it was too expensive. There were Bissinger's candies were there. That's the only place you could buy them. There were all kinds of wonderful little shops. Oh, we're going to be late, I'm sure. But I didn't see anybody in an electric cart or anything. I went a little further down. And then I came back. Now there were three security guards. I went out and told John I hadn't seen her. I was going to go back again. And as I came in, there was a clerk at one of the display cases. And I asked if they had seen a lady in an electric wheelchair. And they said no. I said, well, I'm supposed to meet her here. Went out, went down the mall, went up through the middle to another parking spot out in the back, looked around, she wasn't there. And as I came down, the stairs into the mall, there was one of those security guards watching me. I looked down and I asked different stores if they'd seen anybody in an electric wheelchair. No, nobody had. Came back to the jewelry store and they were all watching me. And I went up to one of the security guards and I said, I'm looking for a lady who's in an electric wheelchair. She's to meet me here. Have you seen anybody like that? He said, no. But he said, I heard there's somebody up on second floor. Now there was a second floor kind of balcony you could see up there, and I'd been looking and there was nothing. Jackie was there, not there. There was not a electric wheelchair or anything. And I even asked some of the clerks along the way. No, they hadn't seen anybody. I came back down. I went straight to that security guard, the first one I saw, and asked him. Again, he said, well, no, but there's somebody, their battery is dead and they're having to recharge it. And immediately I thought of that electric chair, scooter, or whatever you want to call it. And I went up and I asked the lady as I was going into the store if there was anybody there. I'm looking for somebody, and they were in electric. She said, no, no, nobody's looking for you. But okay. Walked a little ways out and came back. I said, are you sure? I heard there was somebody up here having their battery charged. She said, oh, but she's not looking for you. When I said that, Jackie heard me. And she said, Sue. And I said, yes. And I went back, and her battery had charged enough for her to get the cart to going, to get us back out to the car. And I'm thinking all the time, we're going to be late. We're going to be late. We're going to be late. And as I'm walking out of that store, the lady said, I wasn't expecting a white lady to pick her up. For those of you who don't know, Jackie was African American.